morning and you're watching Market Cafe on ET Now with me, Vinny Motiwala, along with me, Somit Sarkar as well. Very good morning to you, Somit, as well.
Good morning, Vinny.
And, let's just talk about the global markets because the handover seems like muted handover, at least what we see coming in from SGX Nifty as of now is down almost 0.3% in trade. Let's look at what the US markets actually did on Friday coming in. Yes, they managed to close with a slight bit of gains when you look at the S&P 500, NASDAQ, as well as the Dow Jones. They snapped their two-day losing streak and actually managed to close in the green. But for the week, they're actually closed in the red as well. Now, in terms of overall, as of now, when you're looking at the US stock futures, they are seeing a slight bit of a decline coming in trade as well. Overall, when you look at, the commentary that came in from the Federal Reserve, they said that they would still be quite hawkish in terms of the rate hikes coming in as well. The commentary seemed quite hawkish. And this week, there are surely investors are watching out for the FOMC minutes of the meeting to understand more on, at least, get some update in terms of how that will actually work on in terms of rate hike, any signs of what could be the rate hikes coming in as well. So that's the update coming in from the US markets. European markets actually managed to close in the green as well on Friday. When you look at it, look at the gains that we saw coming in for the European markets. DAX managed to close with gains of around 1%, FTSE with around 0.5% in gains, as well as the CAC also managed to close with gains of around 1% in trade. As of now, SGX Nifty is indicating a bit of a muted to a red start is what is the inclination coming in for the Indian markets.
Well, skeletons continue to fall out of the FTX collapse saga, and a fresh set of court papers show the bankrupt crypto empire owns its 50 largest unsecured creditors, a total of $3.1 billion. Now, a couple of them owed more than 200 million each. Now, all the creditors were listed as customers, and 10 have claims of more than $100 million each. The creditors whose name and locations when disclosed are amongst the vast array of people and institutions caught up in the FTX insolvency case.
And to some update coming in on COVID front from China, and despite the zero COVID policy that we've seen, China seems to be fighting another resurgence in cases. On Sunday, the country reported its first COVID-related death since May, and followed by two more deaths in the nation. The Nation Health Commission said that it had recorded more than 24,000 infections throughout the country in the previous 24 hours. While the tally is low, the recent surge in the notable is quite notable after the months of very few cases in the country.
A fraught UN climate summit wrapped up on Sunday with a landmark deal on funding to help vulnerable countries cope with devastating impacts of global warming. Now, the UN Climate Summit was scheduled to conclude on Friday but went into overtime as negotiators pushed for an agreement on issues including mitigation, loss and damage fund, and adaptation. Now, the plan reaffirmed the Paris Agreement goal of holding the increase in the global average temperature to well below 2 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial levels, recognizing that this would significantly reduce the risk and impact of climate change.
Moving on to some update coming in from Ukraine, at least dozens of shells exploded at a large nuclear plant in southern Ukraine on Sunday. Now, Ukrainian as well as Russian authorities said that the United Nations Nuclear Watchdog Agency called this attack extremely disturbing and said that the forces behind the attack are playing with fire. Russian and Ukrainian nuclear energy authorities each blame the other side forces for the strikes. The attacks have raised fears of serious nuclear accidents at the plant, which is occupied by Russian forces, although so far there have been no reports of any leak of radiation.
Now, a 22-year-old gunman entered an LGBTQ nightclub in Colorado Springs just before midnight on Saturday and immediately opened fire. Now, he at least killed 5 people and injured 25 others before patrons confronted and stopped him. The police, this is what we are getting from the police. The suspect in the shooting at the club Q was identified as Anderson Lee Aldrich. He used a long rifle in the shooting and 2 other firearms were found at the scene. That is what the police said.
moving on, we have Kim Jong-un actually revealed his daughter unveiled the fourth generation of his ruling family, appearing in photographs with his daughter for the first time ever. This gave analysts a clear indication of his dynastic vision for North Korea, and the regime has never officially confirmed his children exist. But the leader oversaw the launch of an intercontinental ballistic missile with his wife and daughter. The daughter revealed in the photographs is presumed to be June A, likely Kim's second child.
Well, the former US President Donald Trump has stated that he had no interest in returning to Twitter, even as majority voted in favor of reinstating him in a poll organized by the new owner Elon Musk. Now, Trump was banned from the social media service on Jan 8, 2021 for inciting violence. He said he would stick with his new platform, Truth Social, the app developed by his Trump Media and Technology Group, now which he said had a better user engagement than Twitter and was doing phenomenally well.
And the wait for the world's biggest football tournament is over. FIFA World Cup 2022 kicked off with a grand opening ceremony in Qatar at 7:30 p.m. on November 20th. The host nation Qatar faced off against Ecuador after the opening ceremony in the first match of the FIFA World Cup 2022.